Hey pimps, DocDrydenn again from the PimpOS support team. In this video I want to introduce you to one of PimpOS's best tools, pimpup. Pimpup is the PimpOS exclusive tool that gives users unique over-the-air style update control over their pimp tools and miners. It comes pre-installed in PimpOS and is updated via pimpup whenever a new version is released. For this video I will be using a fresh install of PimpOS version 2.6 in a virtual environment. There it is. Also, before I go over everything this tool offers, I want to quickly cover one important note pertaining to older versions of PimpOS. The pimpup tool will still work on older versions of PimpOS. However, when it comes to updating your miner software, caution should be taken. Some mining software devs have been known to remove support for older hardware and/or drivers when they publish their updates. What this means is that if you are running an older version of PimpOS and you update your miners to the most current version, there is a chance that those new miners won't work with your setup. Understand that Pimp has no control over what the mining software devs do with their software. If you find yourself in this category, then you've got two options. One, update your PimpOS to the current released version, then feel free to update all of your miners. Or two, if you must keep the older version of PimpOS, avoid updating the mining software via pimpup. Okay, with that out of the way, let's jump into pimpup. To start off, pimpup has a help command. So it's pimpup space -- help. This right here will give you all of the pimpup commands and their usage. Okay, so let's cover how we actually run pimpup. The main command for pimpup is just pimpup. Let me type that in. Now what this is going to do is this is going to initiate a user interactive mode for updates. So I'll run the command. And as we can see, we have a pimpup version available. It has automatically updated our pimpup, and it has told us that we need to rerun pimpup again in order to use the new one. So we'll run it one more time. And now it has told us that there is a new software available, and it's asking if we want to update to it. Since that's exactly what we want to do, I'll type Y and enter. So this is going to update all of the pimp tools and miner configs and basically all of the background stuff of pimp. Once it's done and updating, it will display the pimpup news for us. This is just a listing of all of the updates that have been incorporated. And the one we're really paying attention to, if we've been doing our pimpups regularly, is the very last one, to see what got changed in the most recent version. Now we're presented at this screen we can press Q to just quit, pimpup did its update, or we can hit any other key and go to the miner menu. So let's go to the miner menu. And I will just, there we go. So at the miner menu, we're presented with all of the available miners for our current system. As you can see, each of the miners are listed by an ID number, and they're telling you what brand video card is supported for that miner. Since this virtual PimpOS install only has an NVIDIA card listed, it's only going to show me the NVIDIA miners. If this was an AMD or a mixed rig, you would see additional miners in this list to choose from. So what we can see is here's listed all of the miners to include their versions for those that support it, and we're presented with a couple options here at the bottom. The first one is, of course, we want to update a miner. So we can pick one of our miners. bminer version 9 looks like a good one. So I'm going to type in the number associated to bminer, which is 9, and follow that with an enter, and it'll ask us if we want to update bminer, and of course we're going to say yes. And so it will do its thing. It's pretty quick for bminer, and it is now updated. Some of these miners get compiled in real time and can take a little bit longer to download and compile. But when it's done, you'll be presented back to the miner menu, and you could go ahead and select another miner to update, or you can hit the Q key to quit, and that also completely exits out of PiMP, which we'll cover right now. I do want to mention that delete old builds by pressing the delete or the D key. There is also another PiMP function that will do this later on if you forget to do it here. I will show you what it does here. So we just updated bminer. There was already a previously installed version of bminer on the system. When it did its update, it made a backup copy of the original, and then it created the new one. That backup copy is still sitting in our miners folder and is eating up hard drive space. So if you ever want to clear out these old miners from PiMP, we can just hit D, and it'll ask us if we want to delete all of our old miners, and if I hit yes, it'll delete it. But I'm not going to do that right here because I want to be able to show you that we can do this from another command later on. And so now we can hit Q to quit, and we're presented back to the command line. So that is the basic usage of PiMP in the interactive mode. Now there is another mode that PiMP provides, and that is PiMP Auto. So let me clear the screen. Alright, so PiMP Auto, it's just that, PiMP space -- auto. What this is going to do is it will do a non-interactive version of PiMP. So it'll update anything, the tools, the configs, it'll update anything that needs to be updated, and it will force any miners that you have loaded into the agent to also update. So let me actually set one up, and then I can demonstrate. So we'll just do the bminer. Okay, so we have bminer set up, and I can show this as miner ID 1. So now I'll clear the screen, and now we'll do the PiMP Auto. So like I said, it's going to check and do a normal PiMP, and it is found that our bminer was set up and active on our rig, and so it automatically downloads and updates a new bminer. This, like I said, is basically for a non-interactive use of PiMP. So if you have multiple miners set up and you only care about those miners, PiMP Auto is a great shortcut to get all of your PiMP tools and configs updated, and then just the miners that you have installed. So the next command I'll cover here is the PiMP force, which is just that, PiMP space -- force. Now what this is going to do is it's going to cause PiMP to re-update all of the tools and configs, even if they're already up to date. Now this has no effect on your miners, so this is a good command to have if any of your PiMP tools seem to not be working correctly, or if you happen to have deleted or are missing any of the default miner config files. So I'll run that right now. And as we can see right there in the top is where it is forced the update to the PiMP software. And of course we're displayed back to the pimpup news just like a regular. So if we wanted to update miners, we could now go back into the miner menu and update our miners. But what we effectively did with pimpup force was force the tools and software to be updated regardless of their current date. Alright, so the next one is the pimpup clean command. Now this is the one that relates back to the miner menu where we pressed D and it asked us if we wanted to remove any of our old backups. So pimpup clean will do that automatically for us. So it's pimpup space -- clean. And again, we're prompted, are we sure we want to delete the backups? Here we can type yes. And it has now cleared up the old B miner that was backed up from our previous pimpup demonstration. The last command that pimpup has is just for informational purposes, and that is pimpup space -- version. And this will just give us the current version of our pimpup displayed on the screen. Okay, so that's how easy it is to use pimpup to keep your pimp tools, configs, and miner software up to date. Be sure to check out the Get Pimp forum for any additional information, and happy mining, pimps.